Halloween Ends is one of the biggest disappointments, if not the biggest disappointment movie that I've been looking forward to in a long time. It is a disgrace to the character of Michael Myers. Spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. I watched it yesterday. I was too upset to make a review yesterday. That's how mad I was of the movie. The trailer to the movie does a great job of not telling you what's really going to happen in the movie. Does a great job. Because, number one, Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are not the main characters. Laurie Strode's in there a pretty decent amount, but she is not the main character. Michael is in there for, what, 15 minutes? 5 minutes of popping in and out to slap Corey on the ass like, hey, good job, son. And the other 10 minutes is the final showdown. Final showdown. Now, here's the biggest problems I have with this movie. This character, Corey, he accidentally, he's babysitting a kid. He accidentally winds up killing him. The whole town goes against him. There are a lot of things that happen that just don't make any sense to me. Okay. I get it. He's a shy guy, real, not a fighter per se. And he gets bullied by, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, a bunch of band geeks. Okay. And that's fine and dandy. It pushes him to become a killer. Now that alone could have been a decent movie had they taken him out of Halloween completely and put him in his own movie, and kid makes a mistake and gets bullied by the town and everybody, and then he becomes a killer. Not bad, right? Could have been a decent movie. But I don't get how this is what I don't understand. Maybe you guys can help me understand. Michael catches him, right? Because he winds up going to the sewer because he's pushed over the road by the band of geeks, and he falls, and Michael goes and grabs his body. Michael's hiding in the sewers like a fucking rat, and he doesn't kill him. Spares him, actually. And a lot of people say because Michael put some of himself in him, possessed him, whatever the case is. Now, I have two problems with that theory. Number one, if that was the case, why didn't he just completely put himself in him? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not just fully go into it? Number two, why didn't he kill the granddaughter? If he was going to possess this man, whatever, if that was the case, why didn't he just kill the granddaughter? Because he never possessed him. I think Corey was just, his life flashed before his eyes, and, for whatever reason, he just became a killer. He killed that old man, and all of a sudden he had a thirst for blood, and he just... And then let's talk about Laurie's granddaughter. Laurie's granddaughter made absolutely no sense in this movie. I swear to God, this movie had to be at least 3-4 hours long, and they just cut it to about an hour and 50 is what it was, because a lot of it doesn't make sense. She barely sees this dude, looks at him one time, and is just in love. She knows who he is. And this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You gotta be somewhat psycho, man. Somewhat. To fall in love with somebody that you have no idea what the story actually is. Yes, he was let go because it's an accident, but how you know it wasn't a mistrial, or something went wrong? You just fall in love with a dude that killed a kid. Like, there's no questions about it. You're not gonna sit him down like, hey man, I need you to tell me pin each part of the story from start to end. No, she just fell in love with the dude, and she got aroused every time he was acting fucking crazy. She just liked it for some reason. My biggest problem with this movie is that Michael is a bitch in this movie. This is supposed to be the end, right? To Michael Myers. Why is he getting outpowered by a dude who's getting bullied by band geeks? And then at that, to add insult to injury, and the most disrespectful thing is to be like, oh, you're just a man, after he takes Michael's mask, after he wrestles him to the ground, outpowers him and everything. Oh, you're just a man, and he just dips. This movie made no sense to me. None. And then for some reason, throughout the whole movie, like, these kids are like, every time he's alone, every time Corey's alone, these kids just pull up on him. I'm like, what? They just wandering in the streets looking for this guy? Like, what the hell is going on here? And then they keep calling him pedo for some reason. Like, did we miss something in the movie? Like, why is he being called that? You know? I don't know, man. It's just one of them things that, like, this movie made absolutely no sense. They don't explain why Michael's super weak. They don't explain anything, because they built him up to be this powerful boogeyman, this monster, this creature of pure evil, and dude's chilling with rats, weak as hell. If that was the case, and let's just put into perspective and say, okay, he stopped killing, that's what made him weak, right? So what's the explanation of him stopping? Why did he stop? Did he all of a sudden just gain a conscience, like, you know what, I don't want to be that killer anymore, you know what, I'm a good guy, I'm gonna turn over a new leaf, I found Jesus? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't explain nothing. It's just he's super weak. And listen, everyone has their own opinion. I did not like this movie at all. The big showdown, I think there's only one thing I liked about this movie. One thing. It was the kill at the studio. When the guy, he cut the guy's tongue off, and, you know, it was just, you know, spinning off the record player. Like, that was cool. Other than that, this movie was horrible. The final showdown, I'm gonna keep doing this because that was a horrible final showdown. It was terrible. For a build-up of that long, and that's how Michael went out. My man was struggling to outpower an old lady. Don't get me wrong, Laurie Strode's a fighter, man, but she is an old lady. And he was struggling to outpower her? I don't know what else to say about this movie, man. It's so inconsistent. It doesn't make any sense. They don't explain why Michael's super weak. They don't explain anything about this movie. There's things that are definitely missing. There's definitely things that were cut out that probably would have made a lot more sense. But even if there was an extended cut, I still wouldn't like this movie. Because the whole point of the whole year of advertisement was Laurie Strode and Michael Myers' final showdown. You're telling me a year build-up and that's the final showdown? 10 minutes at the end. Listen, I'm getting a lot of Season of the Witch vibes. Because it feels like, I don't think Corey's gone. I don't think he's dead. And if he is, if he's like Michael, he's just going to come back. Because Laurie does say evil doesn't die, it just changes shape. And we all know Michael Myers is called The Shape. I don't want them to make another one. I really don't. I want the franchise to just stop. Let it go. Let it go. Because they're going to have to reboot it. The reason why, because even if they do go the Corey route, and whether you like the character Corey or not, bear with me and tell me if I'm wrong. Why did the movie fail? Why is the movie failing right now? Because Michael Myers. He's not in the movie. 10 minutes? He might as well have been cut out. He might as well have. They could have just said Laurie Strode offed him off screen. That final showdown was horrible, man. Horrible. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. It feels like Season of the Witch because it feels like they're trying to. Because I remember the original plan after Halloween 2 was to make like an anthology, where that's why Season of the Witch was there. It had nothing to do with Michael, but it was just, you know, a different story for every. It was going to be a different story for every movie, but it didn't work out that way because Season of the Witch did horrible. So if they go that route and they try to take away Michael Myers and keep the Halloween title, it's just bound to fail. It's not going to do it. It's not. It's not going to be able to do it. And it's sad to say, man, but without Michael, it's not Halloween no more. It's something else. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, guys, that's it. I'm done. Peace.